Yo, 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 it's Levi, the passion guy. Shout out to my young kings. What up, king? Let me tell you a story. See, I don't know if you can tell by this hat or the twang in my talk, but originally, I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. When I was born, there were 3 possibilities as to who my father was. All 3 of them struggled with drug addiction. 2 of them went to prison. 1 of them is dead, and I never really knew any of them. And at the same time, when I was born, my mother struggled with her own crack cocaine addiction. And though she was around for the first 3 months or so of my life, she eventually abandoned me in pursuit of her addiction on the streets. And at the age of 11, I followed in my father's footsteps, whoever he is, and in my mother's footsteps. At the age of 11, I began to pursue a lifestyle of drugs, gangs, and violence. But then, at 17, I discovered my purpose when I heard a message that radically shifted the direction of my life. I heard a message about a God who loved me so much that he became a man, who we call Jesus. And he died to pay for the crimes that I had committed. And 3 days later, he rose up from the dead. And I know some of you may not believe that message like I do. That's okay. But that message led to me discovering my purpose, because the very next year I stepped on stage in front of my entire student body in college. And I shared my story like I'm doing now. And in that moment, I discovered that my purpose was connected to using the power of words to change lives. And that message that day pushed me to become a speaker, so that today I use the life-giving power of words to help students realize their potential, discover their purpose, and change the world. The young king, I want you to do me a favor. If you want to know something about purpose, then drop purpose in the chat. And I know at your age, it can seem incredibly difficult to feel like you've discovered your purpose. But I want you to know today that even though you may not feel like you've discovered your purpose, that every single day you can choose to live with purpose. See, you're a young king, and I want you to know that every king has weapons or powers of purpose. If you believe you have power, drop power in the chat. Let's talk about 2 powers that every king has today. Number 1, you have the power of your story. See, everyone has a story, and every story matters. Your story can save lives. Right now, there are people out there who desperately need your story, and by living your story and sharing your story, you can help them, and you can change the world. Rudyard Kipling, author of The Jungle Book, he said this. He said, "Words are the most powerful drug used by mankind." And I love to add to that the only thing more powerful than words are the stories we create with them. Your story matters, and your story can save lives. Number 2, every king has the power to help somebody else every day. So you have no idea how big of an impact your seemingly insignificant small acts of kindness can have on another person. A word of encouragement can sometimes save someone's life. Opening a door for somebody can sometimes shift the mood of that person for their entire day. Your power to help other people is huge. If you believe your powers can change the world, write change in the chat. Speaking of kings, one of the greatest kings who ever lived, one of the greatest kings who ever walked the face of this planet, was named Martin Luther King Jr. Martin Luther King Jr. had a dream. And the most fascinating thing about his dream is that it wasn't even about him. Martin Luther King Jr. had a dream that one day little black boys and girls would join hands with little white boys and girls. And they would play together. One day his dream became a reality because Martin Luther King Jr. was a man who lived with purpose and on purpose every day. Every day, he chose to use his powers for good to serve those around him. And with every march and every protest and every speech, one day at a time, one person at a time, his choice to live on purpose changed the world. I want you to know today that everyone is born with a purpose, but very few live on purpose. You can choose every day to live with purpose. And I love what Josh Shipp said about Martin Luther King Jr. He said, Martin Luther King Jr. was a great man, not because he had a dream, but because he woke up and did something about it. And I know, young king, that you have a dream of purpose inside of you. If you have a dream, drop dream in the chat. See, I believe that your dream is connected to your purpose, and I have a dream that today you will open your eyes, that you will wake up to the reality that every day you can choose to live with purpose by using your powers to serve other people around you, to make this world a better place. I believe you can change the world. And every day when you choose to live with purpose, you are pursuing your purpose. And the greatest injustice we do to ourselves is never pursuing our purpose. And so, young king, today and every day from this day forward, I challenge you to choose to live on purpose. When you choose to use your powers with purpose, you'll be a man on purpose.